What is a timeline and why would one be used? So, in this video, we will learn the answers to these questions. A timeline is basically a graph of events or a list of events in the order they have happened. As you can see in this picture, different events have been marked. Like you can see here, these are the events, these have been marked in the order they have occurred. Listing the events in the order they have happened is also called chronological order. Timelines are an easy way to see when exactly the things have happened and which events happened first. As we have already read in history, things such as what, why, when, and how are important. So, in order to understand history, we need to understand how and when the events have actually occurred and the order in which they have actually happened. If a timeline is drawn horizontally means across or side to side. We will read it from the left to right, just like we read a book. Reading left to right means that events which have occurred early will be listed in the left side, and events which have occurred later in time will be listed in the right side. We can also find timelines drawn vertically. Vertically means up and down. So we will read in this timeline we will read the events from top to bottom. That is, the events which have occurred early in time will be listed in the top, and as we go towards the bottom, the time will proceed and the later events will be marked in the bottom. In other words, we can also say a timeline is a record of the past. Historians have used a timeline to record the events. Timelines are important because they help us to keep a track of important events. They also tell us how much time goes by before the next event occurs. For example, in this timeline, we can see there is a gap between the year 1783 and 1853, that is of 80 years. 80 years have passed before an important event has gone by. The historians developed a special method for counting the years. They used the letters such as BC or BCE, AD, and CE to describe the time. The term BCE stands for before Common Era and BC stands for before Christ. In the same way, CE stands for Common Era and AD stands for Anno Domini. Anno Domini means in the year of our Lord. This type of counting of events came from Europe. The historians used the event of birth of Jesus Christ as the reference date or the beginning of the calendar. So, this particular point is where the calendar actually starts. So, the events which took place before the birth of Jesus Christ are written as BC, and the events which took place after the birth of Jesus Christ are written as AD or CE. As you can see in this one, the events in this line are basically before the birth of Jesus Christ, and this ones are after the birth of Jesus Christ, or which will be written in CE or AD. And the events before Jesus Christ was born will be written in BCE or BC. The events or the years before the birth of Jesus Christ are counted backwards and written as BC or BCE. So before the birth of Jesus Christ, the counting is basically backwards. For example, the year 500 BC will be a, a comparatively later event as compared to 1000 BC. Let us take an example. The year 1869 CE or 1869 AD was the year or the birth year of Mahatma Gandhi, was the year when Mahatma Gandhi was born. So we can say that Mahatma Gandhi was born 1869 years after the birth of Jesus Christ. If we take another example, that is of the birth year of Lord Buddha, so which is 563 BCE or BC. So we can say that Lord Buddha was born 563 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. At present, we are in this particular point of the timeline, or we are living in the 21st century, that is 2000 years after the birth of Jesus Christ. Or we can say that 2000 years have passed by since Jesus Christ was born. So, the year or the current year in which we are living will be marked as 2021 AD or 2021 CE. Another important piece of information is that 100 years means a century. We often say that we live in 21st century or 20th century. So century exactly means 100 years.